Sav here with Fit and Fab with Sav, and today I just got off work and I'm actually going to cover just a quick subject I want to talk about, because in my line of work I work in nutrition, specifically as it tailors to pregnant moms, breastfeeding moms, moms just right after they have a baby, and then young children like up to the age of 5. So with that being said, I came across some research in my email last week about marijuana use during pregnancy and breastfeeding. So I just thought it was very interesting and that I looked into it more, and I thought that I would just get on here and share it with you guys. So I hope this helps anybody who's wondering about the subject. Probably no one except pregnant moms, but oh well, I don't mind that being my only audience for this video. So let's jump into it. First of all, full disclaimer, I am covering some of this while I'm driving. Don't worry, my eyes are still on the road, and since the phone is in front of me, I still see everything in front of me. Second disclaimer, I don't endorse marijuana use during pregnancy or during breastfeeding. So despite whatever these findings are going to steer you in whatever direction, I personally still advise all my mothers, do not use marijuana. Okay, so what really stood out to me about this study is that basically it was proven in the study that, or okay, maybe not proven, what's the better word for it? I haven't reviewed an article in a long time, you can tell, right? But okay, the findings of the study, let's go with that. So the findings in this study were that the element tetrahydrocannabinol, which is, the element found in marijuana, can be present in the breast milk for up to 6 weeks postpartum. So if you use marijuana during your pregnancy, there's a possibility that there may be elements of your marijuana still present in the breast milk after baby is born. Okay guys, so first let's touch on what is it. So what is marijuana? Many of you know it as weed, pot, dope. I mean, if you're watching this video, then you probably use it, so you probably know what it is. But I like to, like I said, state facts and explain everything before I just go into something. So I'm going to talk about marijuana for a short period of time. So marijuana comes from the dried portion of the cannabis sativa plant. Many people, they smoke it or they ingest it for the effects it has on the body, which includes like euphoria, relaxation, enhanced sensory perception, yeah, stuff like that. And so the most active ingredient in it is the THC, which I mentioned earlier. The fancy scientific name for it is the delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. And this particular ingredient is what can cross through the placenta to the baby while mom is pregnant. Okay, so now answer, why does this matter? Well, marijuana is one of the most commonly illicit drugs used during pregnancy. According to the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, 2 to 5% of women report using marijuana during their pregnancy. Now, if you look at areas where there are younger moms, more urban areas, or socially, economically disadvantaged, you can see that number actually go up to 28%. With such a high rate of moms who may be using marijuana during their pregnancy, and just think of those who do use it, but they don't report it because it's illegal. I mean, who would want to freely admit that they do something illegal? Hello. So marijuana use during pregnancy is probably very underreported, and that's understandable with the circumstances surrounding marijuana in some states. So it's important that we continue to...
Did I ruin the video?
Yeah, because you just squeezed the door. What do you need?
Oh, okay. Which one's better? This or this?
Neither.
Oh, okay. Okay. I won't come in till next hour.
I don't remember what I was saying. Okay, research on marijuana use during pregnancy is so important just because of those underrepresented moms who are using the substance thinking that it's safe or okay for their babies. Full disclosure, how I will be discussing how marijuana use during pregnancy impacts the composition of breast milk. I have to say that there isn't a ton of research done on this. The study that I read about, that I'm linking in the description box for you, only had 25 participants. I believe I read that there were a little bit more than 100 who were eligible for the study, but only 25 completed it. So yeah, that's where our data is coming from. But I will say, like, studies with pregnancy in general are very challenging. One reason being that, you know, pregnancy only lasts for such a short amount of time. So you have to be ready right then, basically, to go for a study. So a lot of times time constraints makes pregnancy studies very hard, as well as just making sure that baby is safe and also, you know, mom is safe. Just that safety of the fetus and for mom as well during these studies. So digging deeper into the study, so the only criteria for this study was the intention to breastfeed, of course they had to be pregnant, as well as a period of abstaining from marijuana use for 6 weeks. Because, you know, the point of this study, you know, was to see the levels of the THC inside breast milk after mom delivered, even if she only smoked for, you know, a couple weeks into her pregnancy and then she stopped. We really wanted to see those lingering effects. So looking at the results and, you know, the discussion and everything, I think the key takeaway was that when you smoke during your pregnancy, that THC has a half-life of 17 days in the breast milk. So what that equals out to in the end is the THC, traces of it can be found for up to 6 weeks or more postpartum. So we don't want to affect any fetal brain development during pregnancy or after the pregnancy. So the whole idea of getting these results was to see the harm that moms were doing to their fetuses if they smoked in the beginning, continued to smoke, decided to smoke afterward, whatever the case may be, as far as the marijuana use. And I say smoked, but I guess I should say consume, because you don't just have to smoke it, right? So in the end, the recommendation was to not consume marijuana during the pregnancy, as we see traces of the THC in the breast milk and your child is consuming that breast milk. So your child is getting those, and you wouldn't want to be the reason why your child has a brain development, you know, delay. So like I said, they're pushing that moms do not use marijuana during their pregnancy. Now, as I said, which I sounded very biased right then, but as I said, I'm just presenting you the facts. You do what you want to. But based on these very, very small findings from these 25 women, I strongly suggest you choose no marijuana for your child. So now, give me just a few short weeks. Just kidding. A few short days. I'm actually going to look up the effects of marijuana use, like in utero, not just like as it transfers to the breast milk, but as it transfers directly to the baby. And yeah, I'll come back right there. And it's been 3 weeks and 2 days, but I am back. So, like, I've just had a lot of things happen the past couple weeks, so I really didn't have to wait this long to make this video. as you're gonna see, like, oh, that's all she said. Yeah, but I'm here now, I'm back, and so I finally get to release this to y'all today. So just jumping in, so what I did is just basically look at studies collectively, just to see the results for what happens while pregnant moms smoke marijuana throughout the pregnancy. And what I found is that overall effects on the pregnancy, we see low birth weight, we see a higher incidence of prematurity, smaller head circumference, short stature, so like smaller babies in general, as well as the instance of stillbirths increasing as well. And then some of those studies actually followed the child postpartum, I guess you can call that. But and they say that these children may experience more trouble with like memory, attention, controlling their impulses, as well as their school performance may suffer because of exposure to marijuana in utero. So the end-all be-all takeaway, or basically the point of this video, was just to present the facts to you so you know what the risks are and what the risks may not be, because as I've said throughout this whole video, there's not strong evidence to support these findings. There's little evidence, but it's not big enough to be strong. These studies tend to be so much smaller groups of women, so it's hard to take this small, 1% of the population that we studied and then say, okay, this is the general rule for everybody. It's hard. But also, as I said earlier, it's already hard to conduct studies on pregnant women for reasons I listed earlier. So it is what it is. So like I said, you take with this information what you may. If you choose to smoke marijuana, then you know what risk may be present if you're pregnant, and then you have your baby and what your baby may have to go through life. Keyword may have to go through life. Otherwise, you can go ahead and take the chance. I know some of you probably have used marijuana in your pregnancy and your baby came out fine and you're like, oh, whatever, I don't care. But there's always that one child, and all pregnancies are different. So I do urge you, the takeaway here, please, please, please don't consume marijuana during your pregnancy. Please. Fingers crossed. Even after your pregnancy. Please, please, please. Okay, and thank you for listening. I will see you guys next time, and I already know my next video is actually, so I will be talking about the news I got last week. So my acceptance to my dietetic internship on my quest to be a registered dietitian. So stay tuned. I will be with you soon. Bye guys.